Welcome to this Assam election special coverage. Well, what a day of campaigning it has been for the BJP. We had Shivraj Singh Chauhan, the Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister. We had the party national president JP Nadda. And to end the day, none other than Union Home Minister Amit Shah addressed a mega town hall in Guwahati. Clearly, the BJP, the Saffron Party, is leaving no stone unturned to reach to the last voter in Assam. While some are calling the current situation as a pro-incumbency for the BJP, but the party is in no mood to take any chances. The star campaigners are here. Three big names: Shah, Nadda, Shivraj Chauhan. Apart from PM Modi, almost everyone was in Assam in a single day. This speaks for itself. How much is at stake in Assam? How seriously the BJP is taking Assam? But mind you, the Congress and the IUDF combined, who have made gains, analysts say they have made rapid gains in the last 2 weeks or so, are also a confident lot despite the visits by these top guns, top leaders of the BJP. Gaurav Gogoi is certain that the Congress AIUDF will make the government. Badruddin Ajmal is confident that the Congress AIUDF Mahajut will form the next government. So clearly now, with just 12 days, less than 2 weeks to go for voting on March 27th, both the ruling and the opposition are confident. Well, Union Home Minister Amit Shah, as I mentioned, addressed a town hall in Guwahati this evening. We'll very quickly listen in a little bit to what he had to say.
हम के सत्र के अंदर मैं अभी शंकर देव जी के सत्र में जाकर आया। पूरी जमीन, पूरी भूमि घुसपैठियों ने कब्जे करी थी, मगर वो खाली नहीं कराती क्योंकि उनमें उनकी वोट बैंक छुपी हुई है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार है जिसने भदरवा सत्र के अंदर घुसपैठियों की भूमि को खाली कराकर आज फिर से नामगढ़ को प्रतिष्ठित करने का काम ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने किया। और बदरुद्दीन की भाषा तो सुनिए। और कांग्रेस कहती है भाषा सुधारो वरना हम आपके साथ नहीं रहेंगे। भैया, किसने रोका है आपको? आज ही छोड़ दो, भाषा तो उसकी वही है, इतने सालों से है, मगर कहते भाषा सुधारिए वरना हम आपके साथ नहीं रहेंगे। किसको मूर्ख बना रहे हो भाई? आसाम की जनता को इस तरह से आप मूर्ख नहीं बना सकते। आसाम की जनता आपके सत्ता लोभ को जानती है।
So there you heard Union Home Minister Amit Shah again directly launching a target on AIUDF Chief Badruddin Ajmal. Shah, of course, since his two rallies yesterday at Nazira and Margarita, Shah has once again brought the focus back to influx. He has been talking about influx continuously, questioning, can the Congress and Ajmal, can the Congress and AIUDF stop influx? That is the question he has been asking to the voters of Assam. And of course, Home Minister Shah stated today that the main fight, he admitted the main fight in these elections would be between the BJP and the Congress AIUDF, and Ajmal definitely is a factor. But Shah said that the Congress and AIUDF cannot be considered as two entities, as one is sitting on the lap of the other.
यहां पर भारतीय जनता पार्टी, कांग्रेस और बदरुद्दीन अजमल के बीच में लड़ाई है। मेरी एक गलती को आपने पकड़ा नहीं, ये कोई ट्रायंगल नहीं है। कांग्रेस गोदी में ही बदरुद्दीन अजमल बैठे हैं। असम की महान जनता ने तय करना है कि श्रीमंत शंकरदेव के स्वप्न को कौन पूरा कर पाएगा। भारतीय जनता पार्टी और असम गण परिषद का गठजोड़ पूरा कर पाएगा, या फिर कांग्रेस और बदरुद्दीन अजमल का गठजोड़ पूरा कर पाएगा। मैंने असम का इतिहास पढ़ा है। काला पहाड़ को आज असम की जनता आज भी जानती होगी। मित्रों इसके लिए इतिहास में जाने।
So clearly, to sum it up, the focus comes back to Ajmal. The BJP has been continuously targeting Ajmal, almost making it a BJP versus Ajmal this election. All the leaders have been speaking in the same tune. Shah also lambasted the Congress for going against its decision to align with the AIUDF, which it was earlier vehemently opposed to. We have heard that again and again. Of course, even the BJP leaders have been questioning why from who is Ajmal to Ajmal, my friend, the transition. Of course, Shah also said that the BJP has controlled corruption, has cracked down on corruption fully in the state, and dared the Congress to point out a single grave case that has escaped the law. Well, this is something that the BJP has also been talking about, challenging Congress on corruption.
आंदोलन, हिंसा, भ्रष्टाचार, तुष्टीकरण, घुसपैठ, आतंकवाद, मानो 20-25 सालों से 80 के दशक से हम मानते ही नहीं थे कि इसके बगैर आसाम हो सकता है क्या। कितने आंदोलन झेले, कितने हमारे आसाम के बेटे मारे गए, कितनी घुसपैठ हुई। आसाम की अस्मिता की बात करने वाले घुसपैठ रोक पाए क्या? घुसपैठ नहीं रोक सकते, आसाम की अस्मिता को क्या खाक बचाओगे? और आपकी गोदी में जब अजमल बैठा है और आसाम की अस्मिता की बात करते हो, शर्म नहीं आती आपको? किस मुंह से बात कर रहे हैं? आतंकवाद आसाम के अंदर आए दिन।
There Shah reiterating once again that those who align with Ajmal cannot protect Assam, cannot secure Assam. He also once again said only the BJP can protect the identity and culture of Assam, and ask the people to choose wisely between the BJP and the Congress and AIUDF.
मित्रों, मैंने पहले ही कहा कि असमिया संस्कृति की पहचान और उसके संरक्षण की ये लड़ाई, मित्रों, जो हमारा महागठबंधन है, इसके लिए असमिया संस्कृति और उसका संरक्षण एक महत्वपूर्ण बिंदु है। मित्रों, कांग्रेस और बदरुद्दीन अजमल, आप किसी को भी नींद में से उठाकर पूछ लो, वो तुरंत कहेगा कि ये लोग असमिया संस्कृति की रक्षा नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि इनके कंधे पर बैठकर ही अगर वो सत्ता में आए तो कर फिर से एक बार घुसपैठ होनी है, जो अपने पैरों के तले असम की संस्कृति को रौंदेगी, असम के साहित्य को खत्म करे, असम के संगीत को खत्म करे। और वो घुसपैठ रोकनी है तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के अलावा कोई नहीं सकता। और कांग्रेस पार्टी निर्लज्ज होकर एक और सेक्युलरिज्म की बात करते हैं और दूसरी ओर यहां बदरुद्दीन अजमल के साथ बैठे।
So you heard there the Indian Home Minister Amit Shah in the town hall clearly invoking the Assamese pride and also saying only the BJP can secure the culture, identity, heritage of the Assamese culture, the indigenous people of Assam. This has been the line, the campaigning style which the BJP has been following since the very beginning. The target has been specific, Ajmal. Of course, the BJP has been talking about all the development push, the highlights, the major highlights, what it has done, the scheme, but the focus, if we say in terms of percentage, 70% of the focus, especially in the last couple of days or more, seems to be on Ajmal bashing. I have Avna Borbora, Assistant Professor, Political Science, Royal Global University, and also a political analyst in the studios with me in Guwahati. I also have Aradhana Katoki, social and rights activist, joining me from Dibrugarh. I'll come to Avna first. Avna, well, not surprising at all, right? The BJP clearly going after Ajmal, targeting Ajmal, making it a BJP versus Ajmal affair, this elections.
I think the Union Home Minister's address today clearly highlights the broad contours of the BJP campaign strategy. On one hand, of course, development would be a major plank, and the Chief Minister as well as the Health Minister of the state has repeatedly reiterated that their major focus during the campaign would be to showcase the government's achievements in the last 5 years. At the same time, however, the campaign would also rely on some amount of polarization, and this it hopes to achieve by again stirring up the apprehensions of the question of Muslim influx into Assam, and this it can do in the best possible way by stigmatizing the AIUDF Congress alliance, because as you know, in Assam there is a general perception that the AIUDF is a party backed by illegal immigrants, and there is a certain perception against the party amongst mainstream Assamese. So this is the reason that they would be trying to stir up this issue as well, stigmatize this alliance, and through it, it hopes to actually go forward with the elections by building up a campaign, like I have said, on the twin planks of development and polarization.
But again, Abhinav, coming back to you, do you think the AIUDF also, of course, it knows its strength and its constituencies and its areas, but AIUDF is also guilty of not reaching out at all to major parts of Assam where it may not have a following, but they are not even interested in making a presence felt. And also we cannot ignore the fact that though the Congress and the AIUDF are in an alliance, they are not sharing, they are not conducting joint campaigns as yet, they have not shared the dais yet. So do you think the BJP's Ajmal bashing has succeeded to an extent in ensuring that the Congress and the AIUDF are not going on a joint campaign, or do you think the Congress is not doing it deliberately?
See, one would expect the AIUDF actually to have a more cross-cultural approach, but again we'll have to understand that in politics, there are parties who have a more narrow political base that it seeks to represent. Take the example of Shiv Sena for that matter, or the example of even the AGP, which at the height of its popularity was a party which was mostly concentrated amongst the caste Hindu Assamese. Similarly, in the 1980s, you had a party called United Minorities Front, led by Ghulam Usmani, which sought to represent only the minorities. And AIUDF is a political party which has been formed categorically to represent minority interests, and from that angle, I think the party is actually sticking to its mandate. Regarding whether the Congress is at fault or not for aligning with the AIUDF, I think definitely there has been a reaction in Upper Assam for aligning with a party which majority of the Assamese perceive to be a party which shelters the so-called illegal migrant. So for that reason, the Congress might face a backlash, and probably to avoid it, I think both the parties are actually moving separately, and also in order to give the alliance a more secular approach, like we know, that is the reason the party is also reaching out to other parties like the CPI, CPIM, or the Ahom AGM led by Ajit Bhuiyan, because otherwise a party like AGM, I do not think that it has any strong presence in the ground to actually create an alliance and offer them seats. But it's actually to play up to the optics that the Congress is reaching out to these political parties.
Well, Dr. Aradhana Katoki, what is your assessment of the campaigning so far, especially in Eastern Assam? Do you think rhetoric is still ruling the roost? Do you think polarization has been the major factor? What do you think, how is your assessment of the campaigning by the various parties? Do you think they are touching the key issues, or it's just mostly rhetoric so far?
I would say that it is mostly rhetoric, because the key issues are being, sidelined, and people's minds and the old themes are being, replayed, and I don't think that the more perceptive voters would be taken in by this kind of rhetoric. I mean, look at Assam flood free ho jayenge, that kind of thing is something really is taking is not at all possible the way things are going, and this Ajmal bashing or Congress bashing, that again is it comes out as a bit jaded, because they are not going into the core issues or not stressing on that.
And the BJP bashing as well, the counter BJP bashing as well.
Yes, that of course, that is part of that the kind of politics that we see nowadays is totally different from what we saw earlier, and it is more a sort of, rather more for getting into power than for serving. That is what I'm not a political analyst, but from where I am, I would say that we do not see any sincere commitment to development in the truest sense of the word. Yes, of course, there has been development in the time of BJP, slightly faster rate, but then again, take for instance what's happening in our own small town, because that's where I am at, and we do see that we have better roads and many positives are there, but how deep is it or how lasting would it be? There are doubts. So especially because this particular place is the Chief Minister's constituency, and there was high expectations, but then there has been a falling off. So then when they talk about development, we begin to feel a bit cynical. That is it the same thing? Whoever is in power, they always try to towards the time of elections they come back and then they talk about that. But in performance, they don't start from the beginning. So all that, I don't think that this kind of rhetoric is going to affect the more perceptive voter. But and also I think now there's a younger generation are they are not taken in by all this.
But then again, there will be
what exactly
there will be another set of argument.
Going to achieve by
there will be another set of argument on which says that yes, perhaps the BJP has done better than the Congress on the development part. We'll come to that later. Congress MP Gaurav Gogoi was also out campaigning, and let's listen into what he said talking to the media earlier in the day.
আমাৰ অসমৰ কংগ্ৰেছ চৰকাৰ হ'বই আৰু কংগ্ৰেছৰ মুখ্যমন্ত্ৰী হ'ব কথাটো নিশ্চিত মইতো কিতাপৰ বাকি ৰাইজৰ লগত এটা মোৰ ঘৰুৱা সম্পৰ্ক নিৰ্বাচনী কেন্দ্ৰিক সম্পৰ্ক নহয় এটা পৰিয়াল কেন্দ্ৰিক মোৰ এটা সম্পৰ্ক ইয়াত আছে আৰু এই নিৰ্বাচনৰ পিছতো যদিও মই স্থানীয় প্ৰতিনিধি নহয় বা স্থানীয় সাংসদো নহয় বা স্থানীয় বিধায়কো নহয় তথাপিও এই অঞ্চলৰ মানুহৰ দায়িত্বখিনি ঘৰৰ মানুহ হিচাপে মই লৈছো যেহেতু এই অঞ্চলৰ মানুহখিনি মোৰ পৰিয়ালটোক মোৰ পিতৃক প্ৰয়াত তৰুণ গগৈদেৱক ইমান মৰম কৰিছিল শ্ৰদ্ধা কৰিছিল এয়া মোৰে কৰ্তব্য যে আগন্তুক দিনত এই অঞ্চলৰ ভিতৰত মানুহখিনি মাত্ৰ আমাৰ দলৰ কৰ্মীসকলৰ কথা কোৱা নাই অঞ্চলৰ মানুহখিনিৰ কথা কৈছো Well,
that was Gaurav Gogoi campaigning in Titabar, of course. The constituency is very special to him and the Gogoi family. We all know why. Abna Borbora, the Congress AIDF combined, say a month ago, we have had several discussions and nobody was giving them a chance. Nobody was betting on that alliance. But something has changed in the last 2 to 3 weeks. And that can be felt. All of a sudden, you feel that there is a race. The race is on. The battle is on. The fight is on. Definitely, the Congress and the AIDF has combined, has made inroads. Do you think it is because of tweaking with words like, giving 5 guarantees to the people of Assam? Little things like them, or promising to hike the wages of tea garden workers to Rs 365 per day, releasing a so-called charge sheet. This little tweaking of things that the party is doing probably has in a way once again fascinated the people of the state and brought also the focus back on them.
I think there are 2 ways of looking at it. At a very basic level, it so happens that as the election nears, we not only look at the ruling party and the ruling political elite, but we increasingly start looking at and seeing the increased visibility of people in the opposition. So it also happens that in our perception, we feel that even the opposition is gearing up, because when you see in 2019 or in any election in the last 10-20 years, if you see, even a losing candidate or a losing party, when it goes for rallies, it would have a lot of crowd, it would have a lot of people who gather around. So if you see all the candidates that we are looking at your visibles, many of them would win, many of them would lose. But when you look at their visuals, you see that there are large crowds that gather around each of them. So this is a perception that we have, that we feel that probably they are also gearing up. Having said that, it is also always true, and we'll have to concede that once the Congress AIUDF alliance was sealed, it has definitely given an advantage, it has definitely given a push to the opposition. But whether this opposition would be able to dislodge the BJP from power remains highly questionable. I have said this elsewhere, and I am reiterating it today here again. What the alliance has done is that it has given the opposition an advantage in Muslim seats. But across Hindu seats, many of the constituencies which I have personally visited, I really do not see that the BJP is facing a strong challenge. What the alliance and some form of local anti-incumbency would do is that it will help the Congress to grow, do much better than the previous time, but this growth would be what I am calling a bonsai growth. It would be able to grow, but it would plateau around 50 seats or 55 seats, and it would fall short of forming a government. So this is how I am looking at it. And also to answer the 5 guarantees, of course, apart from the CA, the other poll issues that the party has made are based on socio-economic questions. For example, the the claim to provide an allowance to housewives and such kind of promises, they are undeniably very attractive promises. It might actually gain attraction amongst the voters. However, again, many of these issues seem very similar to what the AAP had promised. So in a way, I think such kind of economic issues always gain traction, but whether it would be able to garner votes to make them dislodge the BJP is difficult, and only time would tell. But it is difficult, like I think.
Maybe just not enough. Maybe just not enough. What do you feel? Dr. Kotoki, how do you look at the Congress's approach, the Congress AIUDF combines approach, the 5 guarantees, the other promises, releasing a charge sheet against the BJP? A lot of rhetoric involved there, but definitely they have been able to make a lot of noise around that, isn't it?
Yes, they have been able to make a lot of noise, and I think it's simply a replication of what the BJP is doing. And whether people are willing to accept or believe totally, but definitely there is like there's more spirit now than before, and they will gain some. But as Professor said, that whether it will it's doubtful that it will translate into total power, but definitely there might be, say, it will help to get a stronger opposition. But because otherwise, because one thing that we've noticed is that some of the candidates, they are not, especially in Upper Assam, we are not very familiar with them. So maybe they're still to start the campaign in earnest, and it'll gain. But I wouldn't say that it's going to be, it'll be able to achieve a great deal. But definitely there'll be an improvement than before. That's what I feel. But then again, I would reiterate that I am no political analyst, and so my assessment, I wouldn't know how correct it is.
Yeah, but you definitely represent the common man, the common Assamese, and your view definitely counts. We'll have to go for a very short break here. Stay tuned. Welcome back to this special Assam election coverage. Well, NEDA convener and top BJP leader Himanta Biswa Sharma today once again escalated his attack on AIUDF chief Badruddin Ajmal. Sharma said the letter, that is Ajmal, was yet to adopt the native culture of Assam. He also trained guns at the Congress again for aligning with the AIUDF. Let's listen in.
In this election, Congress is not the issue. Our entire issue is how can you align with Mr. Ajmal? Because you cannot have a migrant Muslim who has not yet adopted Assamese culture fully. Give me a single instance where you have seen Mr. Ajmal in Bohag Bihu. Give me a single instance where you have seen Ajmal in Magh Bihu. And you have seen his communal statement. So this election is entirely between Ajmal and BJP. Congress, Akhil Gogoi, Lurin Gogoi, those are not a factor at all. So our whole question is for the Congress, if you are so strong, you have 5 guarantee, you have Priyanka, Rahul with you, you are so strong, why you have to align with Ajmal? The party whom yourself you have declared in many occasions that Mr. Ajmal is untouchable. Now why you have aligned with him? The very fact that Congress has compromised Assam's soul for grabbing power. People of Assam are not politically that unintelligent that because I do not share the dice, that means I am not with Ajmal. You have a formal alliance with Ajmal. And Congress party has to answer this to the people of Assam for a long time to come. Congress has alienated themselves from the people in 1983 when they contested the so-called illegal election. Thereafter, it took for Mr. Gogoi and Mr. Hiteshwar Saikia for long 25 years to bring back again Congress into the mainstream. Now, by aligning with Ajmal, Congress has isolated from the mainstream people of Assam for another 50 years.
So, one very interesting point there that we could gather from what the BJP leader, the Assam Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma said is that just because Congress is not sharing the same stage as far as campaigning is concerned with the AIUDF with Ajmal doesn't mean that they are not that close. We are also being joined by Assam BJP spokesperson Pramod Swami. Pramod Swami ji, welcome to the show. कईयों का ये मानना है कि बीजेपी जो है नहीं चाहती कि कांग्रेस और अजमल एक स्टेज शेयर करें, ये भी एक मानना है क्योंकि वो एक जो शुरू से ही बीजेपी नहीं चाह रही है कि ये अलायंस हो, जो कि कांग्रेस के लोग एक्यूज कर रहे थे और काफ़ी सारे एनालिस्ट भी कह रहे थे। इस पे आपको क्या कहना है?
देखिए, हमारे चाहने या नहीं चाहने का सवाल नहीं है। सवाल यहाँ ये उठता है कि आसाम की जनता नहीं चाहती है कि ये अनहोली अलायंस हो, और जब उन्होंने कर लिया है तब आसाम की जनता ये निर्णय ले चुकी है कि इस अनहोली अलायंस के पक्ष में आसाम की जनता जो है रायदान नहीं देगी, मतदान नहीं करेगी। उसकी वजह ये है कि एक समय स्वर्गीय तरुण गोगोई साहब ने स्वयं कहा था हुइज बदरुद्दीन, और उन्होंने कभी बदरुद्दीन साहब की जो सांप्रदायिक नीति है, जो विभाजनकारी नीति है, उससे स्वर्गीय तरुण गोगोई साहब ने समझौता नहीं किया। हाँ, हमारा उनसे राजनीतिक मतभेद हो सकता है, लेकिन आज जैसे हमने डॉक्टर भूपेन हजारिका साहब को भारत रत्न दिया, जैसे हमने स्वर्गीय गोपीनाथ बरदोले साहब को भारत रत्न दिया, उसी तरह हमने आज स्वर्गीय तरुण गोगोई साहब को भी आज पद्म पुरस्कार से हमने सम्मानित किया है। लेकिन यहाँ सवाल ये उठता है कि जब स्वर्गीय तरुण गोगोई साहब ने कहा था हुइज बदरुद्दीन, आज ऐसी क्या परिस्थिति उत्पन्न हो गई कि कांग्रेस पार्टी ने बदरुद्दीन साहब के सामने आत्मसमर्पण कर दिया। ये आसाम के स्वाभिमान की और आसाम की सभ्यता की और आसाम की संस्कृति को बचाने का चुनाव है। ये आसाम की सभ्यता और संस्कृति के ऊपर में बहुत बड़ा खतरा है। आज देखिए, जो हमारे जो सत्र की माटी है, इस पे इन्होंने कब्जा किया। आज कांग्रेस के विधायक की इतनी हिम्मत हो गई कि वो कहते हैं कि श्रीमान शंकरदेव कला क्षेत्र में हम मियां म्यूजियम की बात रखने की बात करते हैं, लुंगी टोपी रखने की बात करते हैं, पायलट प्रोजेक्ट को
नहीं, ये हम सुन चुके हैं बहुत बार पहले भी। मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ, देखिए, अगर कांग्रेस और AIUDF की अलायंस ना होती, पॉलिटिकली स्पीकिंग, नंबर से स्पीकिंग, तो फ़ायदा उसका डेफिनेटली बीजेपी को ही होता, बिकॉज जो है एटलीस्ट इन सर्टन कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसीज माइनॉरिटी वोट्स जो है बढ़ जाते। सो क्लियरली ये स्ट्रेटजी लेके चल रही है कि हाँ, शायद से ठीक है अलायंस हुई है, अभी एटलीस्ट ओपनली स्टेज शेयर ना हो, क्या ऐसा कुछ है? और या फिर ये कोई फैक्टर ही नहीं है बीजेपी के लिए, जैसे आपके लीडर्स कह रहे हैं?
देखिए, भारतीय जनता पार्टी चुनावी नफा और नुकसान को देख करके राजनीति नहीं करती है। हमारे लिए राष्ट्रहित सर्वोपरि है, इसीलिए हम नेशन फर्स्ट पार्टी सेकंड इंडिविजुअल थर्ड की बात करते हैं। चुनाव आएंगे, चुनाव जाएंगे, चुनाव हमारे लिए महत्वपूर्ण नहीं है, कोई हारेगा कोई जीतेगा, लेकिन सवाल यह उठता है कि आसाम की सभ्यता और संस्कृति बच पाएगी। आज तो जिस तरह से कांग्रेस पार्टी ने बदरुद्दीन साहब को अपनी गोद में बैठा लिया है, तो क्या ये लोग आसाम की जो समस्याएं हैं, घुसपैठ की समस्या से आसाम को निजात दिला पाएंगे? आज देखिए, जो काजीरंगा में एक समय में कितने राइनो की किलिंग्स होती थी, लेकिन आज जब से भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार आई है, आप एक भी राइनो किलिंग्स की आज समाचार पत्रों में आप कोई न्यूज नहीं देखते हैं। तो ये इच्छा शक्ति की बात है, ये राष्ट्र के स्वाभिमान की बात है, ये आसाम के स्वाभिमान की बात है, हमारी सभ्यता और संस्कृति को बचाने की ये लड़ाई है। तो ये वैचारिक लड़ाई है, इसको कोई किस नजर से देखता है उसमें हमें कुछ नहीं कहना। हमारे लिए राष्ट्र सर्वोपरि है और राष्ट्र हित के लिए हमें जो करना है हम जरूर करेंगे।
Abhinay Barbara, clearly it is amply clear that the BJP never wanted the alliance to take place, the alliance between the Congress and the AIUDF. Now that it has taken place, probably the narrative has changed, and we all understand why. Probably the BJP knows that as far as the minority dominated constituencies are there, can't do much about it. But if we can change the narrative to the people of Assam versus Ajmal, probably that suits the party the best, and probably that is what it is doing. But do you think the Congress not sharing stage with Ajmal has got anything to do with that?
I think certainly, like I told you about the alliance and the selection of alliance partners apart from the AIUDF. All of it was done in order to actually shed the image and perception that the alliance was of the Congress party was only with the AIUDF. That is the reason the Congress as well as all the other alliance partners are repeatedly harping on the fact that this alliance is not a Congress AIUDF alliance, but this is a multi-party alliance. This is what they are trying to do. Of course, the clear reason, like I have just said, is to avoid the stigma that is associated with the AIUDF in Assam amongst the mainstream Assamese community. Now, whether not sharing the days would actually help the Congress party politically is something too immature to believe. I think Dr. Sharma, of course, what he has said is something very similar to what the BJP spokesperson has harped, as well as what the Home Minister has harped. But there is an element of truth in what Dr. Sharma has said, because whether you sit on this, you share the days or you do not, it is not as if the message has not yet reached the voter. Across Upper Assam, people understand that these two parties are in an alliance, and the people who did not want such an alliance to take place are clearly offended by this kind of a political move. So merely thinking that not sharing the days would give some kind of a political mileage to the opposition is, I think, very immature to think, because the ordinary voter is far more intelligent if the opposition believes that they can be befooled by simply not sharing a days. I really don't think so.
Dr. Katoki, when we speak specifically about Eastern Assam, Upper Assam, do you think Congress's alliance with the AIUDF has indeed hurt the party's chances in those constituencies? Your personal opinion on that?
Well, some people are not very happy with this alliance, that is true. But maybe they are trying to balance it by providing, some candidates who have some whole winnability. Like, for instance, in Lahual, they have a tea garden candidate, tea community candidate. So those where they have provided candidates, so they have looked at it from that angle, and the Ajmal factor has, of course, for voters, general voters, those who are more conscious, they are not very happy with it, because Ajmal is associated with the illegal immigrants, and the indigenous Muslim Assamese. they too, I don't think, are very happy, or they also are not identified with Ajmal. So definitely that has, created some unhappiness in Upper Assam as far as Congress is concerned. That is the sense that I have got speaking to some people around.
Absolutely. Well, under constant attack from the BJP, the AIUDF chief Badruddin Ajmal, however, is still a very confident man, and he is certain that the Mahajut will form the next government. Let's listen very quickly.
मैं बेसी नकौं डाँगर कथाओं नकौं सरकार आमार होबो एटू ग्यारंटी मैं दी आसो सबसे बेसी सीट आमार महागठबंधनर आमार कांग्रेस दलेই आनिब जी पार्टीर एमएलए बेसी होबो এই পার্টি ভয়ে কম্পিত হয়ে আছে ভয়ে কাঁপি আছে এইসকলে আর আগত সব মেসেজ দি দিয়ে ইয়াত আহিলে খালি বদৰুদ্দিনৰ বিৰুদ্ধে মাতিবা কেনে কোনো এইসকলৰ হাতত কোনো সমস্যা নাই কোনো এটাও প্ৰমিস পুৰা কৰিব পৰা নাই এতিয়া কিমান বুজাব বলে এক কথা সহজ আছে আজমলৰ বিৰুদ্ধে মাতি দিলে সব হৈ যাব
We had the Ajmal very confident of victory. Pramod Swami, Badruddin Ajmal का जो एक रिएक्शन आया आज की बीजेपी के पास कोई इशू नहीं है, इससे जो सेंट्रल लीडर्स है उन्होंने कहा है कि आप सिर्फ अजमल को टारगेट कीजिए, आपके पास कोई इशू नहीं है, आप डेवलपमेंट के ऊपर अभी बात नहीं करना चाहते, इसलिए आप सिर्फ अजमल को ही टारगेट कीजिए. दैट इज योर एजेंडा फॉर द नेक्स्ट 2 वीक्स टिल इलेक्शन.
देखिए गोस्वामी जी, 60 सालों में उन्होंने सिर्फ एक ब्रिज बनाया, हमने 5 सालों में 6 ब्रिज बनाए. 60 सालों में उन्होंने 6 मेडिकल कॉलेज बनाए, हमने 5 सालों में 9 मेडिकल कॉलेज और एम्स. और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पे आज कितना काम हो रहा है आप देख रहे हैं. डेवलपमेंट, सेल्फी विद द डेवलपमेंट लेकर के लोग जो है वो अपने अपने मोबाइल में डाल रहे हैं. आज गुवाहाटी में देखिए कितना डेवलपमेंट आपको दिखाई देगा. आपके चैनल के सामने ही इस तरह से जो ये ब्रिज वगैरह छोटे छोटे बने हैं वो सब आप सबको दिखाई दे रहा है. लेकिन कांग्रेस को ये डेवलपमेंट दिखाई नहीं दे रहा. तो हमारा मुद्दा है विकास, समृद्धि, प्रोग्रेस और आपको सभ्यता और संस्कृति को बचाने की लड़ाई है और आत्मनिर्भर आसाम बनाने के लिए हम काम कर रहे हैं.
लेकिन प्रमोद स्वामी जी, पिछले कुछ दिनों से आपके जो पार्टी के लीडर्स हैं वो अजमल के बारे में ज़्यादा बात कर रहे हैं शायद से थोड़ा सा, और डेवलपमेंट के बारे में थोड़ा कम. ये तो आपको ही मानना पड़ेगा.
देखिए, जब राजनीति में जब एक चुनाव आता है और हमारा विरोधी अगर ये कहे कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी की अगर सरकार आती है तो 3000 मस्जिदें गिराई जाएंगी, अजान नहीं दी जाएगी, तो क्या उसका हम जवाब नहीं दें? जब कांग्रेस का विधायक ये बोले कि श्रीमंत शंकरदेव कला क्षेत्र में मियां म्यूजियम बनाएंगे, तो क्या उसका जवाब हम नहीं दें? एक राजनीतिक दल होने के नाते जो मुद्दा वो उठाएंगे उसका जवाब तो हमको देना पड़ेगा ना. तो हम उसका जवाब हम दे रहे हैं, लेकिन हमारा जो मूल मुद्दा है वो विकास ही है. आज देखिए नॉर्थ ईस्ट में हमारे जो प्रधानमंत्री है कम से कम 45 बार आए हैं और आसाम में कम से कम 34 और 35 बार आए हैं. पहले मात्र लुक ईस्ट पॉलिसी से सिर्फ आसाम को, नॉर्थ ईस्ट को देखा जाता था. आज एक्ट ईस्ट पॉलिसी के तहत डेवलपमेंट का आज काम हो रहा है. जब हमारे यहाँ से सांसद थे डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह साहब, 8000 करोड़ रुपया ऑयल रॉयल्टी का उन्होंने आसाम को नहीं दिया. माननीय प्रधानमंत्री महोदय ने 8000 करोड़ रुपया ऑयल रॉयल्टी का रिलीज किया है. तो ये सारे मुद्दे, हम विकास का मुद्दा ही लेके जनता के पास जा रहे हैं. लेकिन उसके साथ ये जो बदरुद्दीन साहब की जो सांप्रदायिक नीति, और कांग्रेस देखिए, कांग्रेस सिर्फ आसाम में नहीं, केरल में उन्होंने मुस्लिम लीग से गठबंधन किया है, बंगाल में उन्होंने कट्टरपंथी मुस्लिम ग्रुप से उन्होंने गठबंधन किया है. तो उनकी जो नीति है वो ये उनका जो सेक्युलरिज्म है वो सीडो सेक्युलरिज्म है, वो अपीजमेंट का सेक्युलरिज्म है. और हमारी जो नीति है वो जस्टिस टू ऑल, अपीजमेंट ऑफ नन की नीति है. हमारी जो नीति है
Abhinav Borbora, well, irrespective of whatever the developments are, one thing is certain, Badruddin Ajmal continues to be a very confident and relaxed man at this moment. Irrespective of whatever happens, he probably has nothing to lose. By aligning with the Congress, he's getting the seats he wanted to contest. It's kind of a free run on seats, on some of the minority dominated seats, and whatever happens, he may emerge as the kingmaker. If not the kingmaker, he will still stay very much relevant in Assam for the next 5 years at least. Perhaps that is what the alliance with Congress has guaranteed to the AIUDF. We cannot perhaps say the same about the Congress though.
Yes, I think like I have been putting this in across many platforms over the last few months, it is actually not that the Congress needed the AIUDF, but it was the other way around. It was the AIUDF which actually needed the Congress this time around. But for whatever reason it might be, the Congress leadership failed to understand this. It went ahead with an alliance with the AIUDF, for which it is now facing the prospect of a backlash in Upper Assam, and it has also conceded a good number of seats where it could have independently won. Those seats it has conceded now to the AIUDF. For this reason, what you are saying is quite correct. Badruddin Ajmal as well as his party is now in an extremely comfortable win-win situation. Either way the election turns, one thing is assured, that AIUDF would be able not only to retain its influence, but it is definitely going to better its tally, and that is the reason I think that the person has such a relaxed demeanor that he displays, and he knows that, like you have said, he has very little to lose from this election. He has already gained what he had to gain.
And also, staying with you, the AIUDF has no air about accepting openly that it is only reaching out to a particular section of people. It is not even making an effort to talk about development issues like job, education. Fear-mongering against the BJP has been its only agenda so far, and it is clearly, openly not ashamed of it at the same time, and nobody apart from the BJP, of course, seems to be even talking about it.
If we look at the AIUDF politics closely, we would find that they are definitely talking about issues of development. It is not as if that such questions are completely absent. Even if you look at their Supremo's remark that you played some time back, he clearly stressed upon the fact that it is not the BJP who is talking about such questions, and what his campaign therefore represents is the polar opposite of the BJP's communal program. So it is not as if that they are not talking about it, but at the same time, being a party which is based on minority communalism, of course the fear of being outmaneuvered, the fear of being swept aside is a idiom that the AIUDF has to continuously play and reiterate amongst its popular base, because that is how it can keep its flock together, it can keep its support base intact. Only when it continuously echoes the fear of the majority community actually outnumbering it or sidelining it. So this is a normal dynamic through which any such party would operate. You'd have to continuously stigmatize and create a fear in people's minds. Only in that way you can.
That is something that is perhaps going on in both sides to an extent.
Exactly.
Dr. Katoki, the new parties, the new regional parties, the AJP, the Rise or Dal, have they been able to make their presence felt in Eastern Assam? What is your assessment? What is your personal assessment? Can they be a factor, however small or large?
Definitely they will have some effect, but then you see I don't think they've had time to really build up cadre, and also they are not very visible, and plus they do not have any, they have not been able to put forth a definite definite plan of action, or they have not been able to take the voter into confidence about what exactly they are aiming to do, except for saying that the general, the generic theme of working for regional interest. So that way, of course, with the CAA, anti-CAA sentiment still there, they will make some, that will definitely be great impact, but then I really do not think that they'll be able to make too much of an impact as is expected by some, because they have not been able to convince the general public that they have a specific, they have a specific vision which is spelled out properly, and they seem to be, at least at some point, floundering. And then this the attempted coalition with Rise or Fall, it has not really worked out well. And so I do think that at this moment they are not coming out very strongly. That is the sense that we have, you know.
Yes,
that perhaps they need more time.
Point taken. There's not much time, though, unfortunately. Of Abhinav Barbara, the BJP says, even today, Union Home Minister Amit Shah in the town hall, once again, without naming anybody, hinted that the new regional party is the B team of the Congress and AIUDF. Badruddin Ajmal says AJP, Rise or Fall are the B team of the BJP. Do the AJP and Rise or Fall know which side they are in? I mean, it all seems very confusing. Don't mean to demean anyone here, but they have clearly not been able to make their presence felt so far.
Yes, exactly. And of course, I would not be in a position to actually know whose B team either party is. But what Madam has said is definitely correct, that these parties have not been able to gain traction. Their politics, like I have been arguing, is highly emotive. It is based on a plank which is valid for only 33 odd seats, where the caste Hindu Assamese people constitute a determining factor. Moreover, the recent breaking up of the alliance between both the parties has actually sent a very negative and demoralizing signal to any prospective voters who were actually considering voting either of the parties. If these two parties could not even come together for a simple political alliance, I think it definitely makes one raise a question and ask ourselves that how will these people actually be together in government? Because as you know, either of these parties, even if they win, they would never be able to form a government on their own. And like I have said, so this entire breaking up of the alliance has also sent a very wrong message. And also, I think they could have done much better with the selection of candidates. Apart from one or two high profile faces, many of the people that they have nominated are people who do not have any such presence on the ground. For example, even the East Guwahati candidate is someone who would hardly have any impact during the elections. So
and there's no time to reach out.
There is no time to reach out, and of course there is no organizational base. It's actually moving in this entire emotional way.
Also, the ASU had initially taken a stand, spoken about backing the AJP. That doesn't seem to be translating to the ground at this moment, surprisingly.
Because we'd have to understand the power dynamics of the ASU and the AJP, and the fact that there was a clear disagreement at the level of the ASU leadership regarding the question of AJP's formation. And ever since then, we have seen that the ASU has not actually openly come in support of the AJP. And minus the ASU cadre base, I think AJP is actually in a very weak position. And it was initially hoping that the ASU volunteers could be mobilized to help it during the election, but that is clearly, as we are looking at, we don't see it happening. So minus it, I hardly think that they would have a presence.
Absolutely, but we have to wait and watch how things shape up for them in the next couple of weeks. Pramod Swami, last words from you. आपके आज 3 दिग्गज नेता असम में थे. How much is at stake for the BJP? Amit Shah, JP Nadda, शिवराज सिंह चौहान, सिर्फ मोदी जी की कमी थी. 3 जो है सबसे बड़े नेता बीजेपी के एक ही दिन में असम में, शायद से पहले हिस्ट्री में कभी भी ऐसा नहीं हुआ. सो बहुत कुछ है जो बीजेपी के लिए भी स्टेक में है, आपको मानना पड़ेगा.
ये देखिए, हमारा मुख्य मुद्दा है विकास, सुरक्षा, समृद्धि, सभ्यता और संस्कृति. इस 5 मुद्दे को लेकर के हम जनता के बीच में जा रहे हैं. दूसरी बात अभी चर्चा के दौरान आपने कही, तो मैं एक सवाल करना चाहूंगा कि राइजर दल ने मरियानी से अपना नाम वापस क्यों
नहीं, आप जो बीजेपी के, जो मैंने आपसे सवाल पूछा, कितना स्टेक में आपको लगता है? इतने सारे दिग्गज नेता एक ही दिन में, 30 सेकंड्स.
नहीं, देखिए, एक राजनीतिक दल होने के बाद नाते अमित शाह जी हमारे सबसे बड़े नेताओं में से एक है. तो वो निश्चित रूप से वो जब आते हैं तो हमारे कार्यकर्ताओं के बीच में एक उत्साह का संचार होता है, और उनका असम की जनता के ऊपर में उनका काफी प्रभाव है, क्योंकि वे होम मिनिस्टर के नाते ही इज द मैन ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. आज देखिए जिस तरह से आर्टिकल 370 की कोई कल्पना भी नहीं कर सकता था कि आर्टिकल 370 हटेगा, कोई कल्पना भी नहीं कर सकता कि 3 तलाक का मुद्दा जो है उसका भी समाधान हम करेंगे और कानून लेकर के उसको कानूनी एक जामा हम पहनाएंगे। उसी तरह जो संवैधानिक बाधाओं को दूर कर करके जिस तरह से राम मंदिर का भी मार्ग प्रशस्त किया गया, तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के ऊपर में लोगों की आस्था और विश्वास बढ़ा है। जो काम 70 सालों में कोई नहीं कर पाया, वो काम इस सरकार ने करके दिखाया है। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी और लोग
एड़ी चोटी का जोर लगा रही है बीजेपी, एंड दिस ओनली मेक्स द पोल बैटल वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। बिल्कुल सही कहा आपने, किसी ने नहीं रोका है, and we expect some big names from the Congress to arrive. They have released a big star campaigners list. We expect some top leaders to arrive, and this only makes the entire campaigning process very interesting. Thank you so much, Avna Borbora, Pramod Swami, Dr. Aradhana Kataki. That's a wrap of this special election coverage tonight.